Here's to hugging corners, not cutting them. To grinding away, not grinding to a halt. Here's to those who stay true to the old saying, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. From Tallboy Storage to the latest line of extreme grip hand tools, Craftsman is there when it matters.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacing Live and on Dirt Vision. Thank you for making us a part of your Tuesday evening as we bring you the second season opener for the Twin World of Outlaws Craftsman Championship Series. This time we kick off the season opener for the late models live at Volusia. Randy Cheneth, Cam Walsh, and Hugo Louis will be bringing you all the action on track this evening as we see the best dirt late model drivers take to one of the most tricky circuits in Florida. Generally the season opener for the World of Outlaws in real life as well. Cam, I know you missed last week, but this is going to be a good one with 50 laps of action in the feature. This is going to be a tight race all night.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, hi everybody. We missed last week, but you know what? We made Volusia, we made Barberville, Florida. If this circuit has anything that we've gone on with, Randy, the last 2 years we've been at this now, this racetrack has proved to be very, very difficult as far as getting races together. But when the races do come together, they are not just memorable; they are close, and the action is always available here at Barberville. And I can say I'm pretty excited here. We've got the super late models here on the docket for tonight.
So with that, we go to a couple of interviews to kick the show off. We spoke to Ross Weiss from the World of Outlaws last week. Oh, we're just going to step it up on down the chain of command to Mr. Tom Deery, president of the World of Outlaws. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good evening to everybody. Welcome, race fans, and great to be here for opening night.
So, Tom, I know things are busy for you guys at the World of Outlaws with 2 national-level series that are basically putting on 2 to 3 shows every single week. Comes home to something like 100-some-odd races a year the World of Outlaws actually puts on and sanctions. How does this iRacing Championship play into that existing structure of the World of Outlaws?
Well, obviously, it's a natural fit for what we do because it's as close as you can get to the real thing. It's just like the real-life experience. So a championship program like this, it was a natural fit, and man, we are excited about the way that this has started. Excited to kick off the late models tonight. Especially excited to kick them off at Volusia because boy, that's one of the toughest tracks that constantly provides good wheel-to-wheel racing.
Talking about that, Volusia, I mean, it's known as the fastest dirt half mile in the world. What makes this track so great? What makes it so difficult for these drivers? And you being one, I think, more than familiar with the racetrack, any tips for the virtual drivers tonight as they get ready to get down to virtual Florida?
Well, it'll all be about traction because one thing that Volusia has always provided with that mysterious black race surface that they have that's been dug out of some Florida swamp that has covered the racetrack really provides an interesting traction combination. It'll get slicked off, but yet the power is still there. Sometimes you have to go low to get it. Sometimes you got to go out by the wall. But no matter what, you got to be able to put the power of that race car down on the racetrack. And Volusia, by its very shape, you're really only going straight for a very short period of time on the front straightaway. The rest of the time, you're turning the whole way around.
I don't know if there's ever a point where you're really going straight in a dirt race car, regardless of what kind it is. But we had a couple drivers on the virtual side that run in both of the championships, and I know in both the sim and real life, it's sort of sometimes you'll have your open wheel specialist, sometimes you'll have your late model and sort of modified style specialist. But there are some people that swing both ways. How many of your drivers at the World of Outlaws in the real world do that? Because I think there's about a half dozen of them that we have tonight that'll both be running the winged cars every other week, and then where most of their brother will be getting an off week running the late models as well. Any big names on that side of the fence that actually do it in the real world?
Well, the iRacing Championship is really where we're seeing a lot of that, and that's what's really exciting about the talent of some of the participants. In our world, Donnie Schatz is probably the one that comes to mind, both at Volusia this year for the 12 nights that we were there. He was in a sprint car for 5 of them, in a late model for 6 of them. And that's the kind of going both ways, if you will, that really can make a driver the champion that Donnie is. And he proves it again this year. He's been on a little bit of a winning streak here. But he will say that his time in the late model helps him drive the sprint car, and his time in the sprint car makes him a better late model driver.
Yeah, Donnie is one of the best talents of American dirt racing that I think we've ever seen. But Tom, thank you for joining us. Always great to talk to you. Before we let you go, anything special you're expecting for the night of action tonight?
Well, I know Volusia will always constantly provides excitement, whether it's the Dirt Car Nationals every February, and when we're down there live, or certainly what you'll see on iRacing. Anybody who's tried the track knows that it's tricky, it's exciting, and boy, we're excited to kick off the season. Can't wait to meet the champions when they are in Charlotte for the World Finals, and when they walk across the stage at our banquet to get that big trophy.
I think everyone wants to get their hands on that big trophy. We saw action already from the sprint cars a week ago, and I think we're going to see that same action from the late models tonight. So thank you once again, Tom. We hope to speak to you more in the future.
Thank you, guys. Good luck tonight to everybody, and have fun.
Well, Cam, he sounds, I think, just as excited as anybody else, and considering his experience as he is in the real life with stuff, putting on various World of Outlaw shows, both late models and sprint cars, I think that man knows what he's talking about in terms of things, knowing when it's going to be a good show or not. And I think we're going to be in for a good one tonight.
Yeah, hopefully these guys can keep it clean. I haven't seen much super late model action here at Volusia. Actually, I think only last season we only made it here maybe once, maybe twice, and I don't really recall off the top of my head if we had good shows. I'm hoping the late model boys have been always able to put on a great show for us, so I'm really hoping for it. Meanwhile, we do have Tyler Hudson here. Depending on how we want to let this go here, cars are on track right now. And Randy, don't know if we want to be talking to Tyler or if we want to be getting into the qualifying.
Well, we still got a few minutes to qualifying, so we can speak with Mr. Tyler Hudson real quick. Tyler, how are you doing tonight?
Hey guys, what's happening? Excited for this race coming up.
Of course, Tyler, one of the most experienced drivers on the sim, as well as working behind the scenes at iRacing. He's won a Pete Championship. He's really someone who's sort of done it all, covered all the bases, with a participant. Now he's working behind the scenes. But lots of new viewers tonight on Dirt Vision that may not know much about iRacing and the sim in general. Tyler, what does one need to get started in the sim and in this series?
Well, first you need a membership to iRacing.com. You can head over to iRacing.com, sign up for a membership. We have them as low as $8 a month. And from there, most current generation computers will run iRacing pretty well. If it's a little older computer, you could probably upgrade the graphics card and be good to go. And then, you need a pretty decent steering wheel, pedal set, and you can get all that on iRacing.com. We can point you in the right direction for all of that stuff to get you started with a membership and get you on track and racing.
Is definitely a great resource. And of course, if you do end up getting onto the sim and you end up having those questions, actually a hardware section in the iRacing forums has a lot of good information. 10 years of having a community forum will end up doing that. But Tyler, I know you guys at iRacing, you're always adding content, and this is a question that'll make you a fan, or will get you a lot of fans throughout the community. What dirt content does iRacing have on the way? What else coming up? And what do we have on the sim as it already sits?
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about all our dirt stuff. You know, dirt's still pretty new to the service, just over a year old. We've got some of the best dirt tracks in the world with, Knoxville, Williams Grove, Eldora, Volusia, where we're racing tonight, the dirt track at Charlotte, Limaland. And we got some tracks coming up. You know, Kokomo is a track that's probably next to be put out onto the service. It's in development. We also have a lot of cars available for all the dirt fans out there. I mean, we have sprint cars, non-wing and wing sprint cars, 360, 410. We have late models. We have street stocks. You can even run the NASCAR truck at Eldora on a dirt version of the truck. So, it's pretty cool. If you're a dirt fan or just a racing fan in general, we've got you covered.
Definitely the case. I don't know of any other competitor that iRacing has the swath of content that they do, but thank you for joining us, Tyler. I know you are in particular a late model fan, and I think myself and everyone else, with you included, are definitely looking forward to tonight. So thank you for joining us. I hope your late model brethren put on a good show.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Dirt Night ran here a few times, and they put on an excellent show. So I expect nothing less than that tonight, and it should be great. I'm excited. Hope everybody enjoys the broadcast.
Well, it's time to get things started with on-track action because qualifying is currently underway right now. We're about a minute and a half in, and about half of the grid has put in their first hot laps of the night, with Garrett DeBruge currently holding top time with a 15.807. For those who have never seen one of these broadcasts, maybe didn't tune in last week for the sprint cars, this is the format we're going to be having. Drivers will be separated out into 4 heat races that will be 8 laps long. The top 4 from each heat race will transfer directly to the feature, and then there will be one last chance qualifier race a little later on in the show that will transfer some drivers as well, and then from that we will have a 50-lap feature event here tonight. So it's going to be a long one, Cam. 50 laps as opposed to 30 laps for the late models compared to the Craftsman sprint cars. These guys are going to put on a fun night of action here at Volusia because, as Tyler mentioned, as you mentioned, we on our iRacing Dirt Night broadcast, when we ran the late models in the past, the late models tend to put on one of the best shows of the night.
Absolutely, and I gotta say, also we saw the schedule. We've got Volusia, then we go to Limaland, one of the new boys on the block there. Then we go to Eldora, Knoxville, and Dirt Track at Charlotte. At least that's the first 5 rounds through July the 16th. So either way, cars are getting their qualifying all done. Plenty of time to do that. So they'll get themselves sorted into their different slots. Their different heats. See a lot of familiar names here, and Volusia, it's a half-mile track, Randy, but it doesn't feel at all like a half-mile track. I mean, you almost have to lie to yourself that it's a half-mile track. You got to read it again and again and be like, nah, this ain't a half-mile. It's way too fast for that. You end up spending a lot of time on that throttle, on and off dancing, throttle brake, and then it puts on a good show. We have also seen a bit of a curse at Volusia when it comes to dirt racing. I remember our first season.
Those are the sprint cars.
Those are the sprint cars, so that's what I was going to say. I hopefully we don't have that tonight. That's what I'm hoping. We want this world championship to get off on solid footing, and so we'll see how that goes. But hopefully these guys can put on a good show and deliver a fantastic race for the fans out there.
And now, of course, last week we gave away a pair of tickets on this broadcast. We are doing the same exact promotion tonight. Yeah. Entry in the YouTube chat is !WOO tickets. I'll say again, !WOO tickets. It's all one word, no spaces or anything. That will put you in the entry to win yourself a pair of World of Outlaw tickets to any World of Outlaw event of your choosing. We will do the giveaway for that a little bit later on in the show, just after the last chance qualifier and preceding the feature event. On top of that, iRacing is giving away a pair of tickets. Also, for reference, to get involved with that, you need to come to the YouTube stream chat. So if you're on Facebook or wherever else, the YouTube chat is where it's going to be. In addition to that, if you share the broadcast on Facebook, iRacing will randomly select someone and give them a pair of tickets as well. So 4 tickets up on offer here tonight, Cam, and that's always a good promotion for the race fans everywhere.
I mean, heck, the opportunity to go anywhere, especially the season is just getting started, so you're going to have races all over the country. So anyone in the country that's able to make these races, I think that's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited that we're getting not just the ability to do this World Championship Series, But, Randy, we're also getting the involvement from the World of Outlaws group that are doing this. They come on, give us some tickets, and obviously, I mean, I got to say, for the people that are already watching the race, we haven't even started yet. There's almost 250 people, so let's keep on going with that. And that's just on the YouTube feed. You got another 2 options to view this thing.
Yeah, of course, Facebook, and as well, most importantly, on Dirt Vision in addition to the YouTube feed. But on that note, qualifying ends up coming to an end, and we're going to be having the grids for our heat race here tonight. So let's just go down your starting grid for heat race number 1. Howard Weaver from Team VLR, the Tomato Man, he takes away the pole position for the very first World of Outlaw Craftsman Late Model Championship Series event, with James Eden starting on the outside of that front row for heat race number 1. Josh Lawton and Alex Bergeron are on row 2, with Jesse Carr and Ricky Thornton on row number 3. Charles Cosper and Josh Phillips, row number 4, with Jacob Fields rounding out the 9 spots in heat race number 1. Cam, heat race number 1, I think the driver to watch. Yeah, Howard's up there. Alex Bergeron as well is going to be fighting for a transfer spot. That number 007 of Jacob Fields, he's starting really deep in the order here, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to run himself up to a transfer spot here in heat race number 1.
Well, you know, he might just be sitting and waiting. Lights out on that pace truck already. He might just be sitting and waiting, see what he can do, see what happens with the track wears in. We'll see what Howard Weaver can do. But yeah, Alex Bergeron starting in that 4th spot back there. Pretty excited. We'll see what that guy can do.
Alex was definitely very quick last week at Eldora, ended up with a second place finish. So see what he can do here in the late model, because he has become one of the most diverse drivers on the iRacing service on dirt. One of the guys that can really wheel pretty much anything you put him in, be it a winged car, a non-winged car, a late model. I think he's pretty much done it all on the iRacing service at this point. So as the field works its way around here, the virtual Volusia Speedway Park for the final time, we'll get ready to go racing for the first time into your iRacing World of Outlaw Craftsman Championship Series for the late models. Howard Weaver from Team VLR will be bringing us to green here in just a couple of moments. That 52 of James Eden's, that all-white car, will be trying his best to get himself slotted down in the line. 4 transfer spots are on up for grabs right now. It's going to be a very aggressive fight for him. Green flag flies. Howard Weaver gets on it early, and we are green at Volusia.
For all that vain looks from James Edens, he was not able to get the jump, and Joshua Lawton almost got the inside of him. Howard Weaver, he gets a pretty easy jump. It's easy like that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. They single file out early as Bergeron. A little bit of a run there on Josh Lawton, but not quite able to make anything of it. They're going to stay single file, side by side. A little bit deeper down the field, though. That's the 4 car of Josh Phillips fighting with Jacob Fields deep in your field. That's the fight for 8th place on the racetrack of the 9 cars. That 007 of Jacob Fields is going to take it away, so he moves up 1 spot. Howard Weaver, he's already out to nearly a 1-second lead. So that 07 car is hooked up this evening. He's going to be hard to deal with all night. James Edens in 2nd, Josh Lawton in 3rd, and Alex Bergeron round out your top 4, and they're stretching away from the rest of the field. I think that number 12 might have a safe transfer spot yet.
Yeah, that 20 car is of Ricky Thornton, is on fighting with Jesse Carr in that number 11 machine. So super late model's already putting on a clean show already. A little bit of beating and banging, but nothing too terrible. And Howard Weaver, he is just cruising right now. But the problem with cruising, though, is if he's fast right now in the session, what's going to happen when the track starts deteriorating? Remember, 4 heat races, then that long feature. I can't imagine what the state of the track is going to be in at the end of this one.
This track is definitely going to get rough, and it's going to get bumpy as the night goes on. The fight is still on a little bit for 3rd place as Alex Bergeron has reeled in Josh Lawton. They have 3 laps remaining here in heat race number 1. You see that 12 car Bergeron tucked nicely under that rear spoiler of that number 40 car that hit off to 3 and 4. Everyone right now pretty much running the same groove down around the middle of the racetrack. A little bit of a check up in the middle of the pack. Who is that? We've got the 33 of Charles Cosper, maybe a little bit of contact. They're still fighting it out for those last couple spots in the field. Those guys aren't in position to transfer, Cam, but they are fighting hard amongst themselves in the back.
Hey, see what you can do, see what you got, see what the car does in the pack as they're picking up that white flag right now, Randy, for the heat number 1. Everything's staying pretty static right now.
The field's going to work themselves off of corners number 3 and 4, and for Howard Weaver, he will win the first heat race here in the iRacing World of Outlaw Craftsman Championship Series for late models. James Edens in 2nd, with Josh Lawton and Alex Bergeron rounding out your top 4 transfer spots. Jesse Carr, Ricky Thornton, as well as Charles Cosper, Jacob Fields, Josh Phillips. Those drivers will be on the outside looking in at the end of heat race number 1. Exciting heat race there, Cam. Those top 4, though, they got out in front early, and they really didn't try to race with one another at all. They kind of just sat there, which is really smart racing when you think about it. You want to defend that transfer spot. No need to, if you're running in 4th, no need, risking it all trying to go for 3rd.
Well, they want a piece of that $17,000 pie, Randy. I mean, you got to remember these guys, they ain't just doing this for fun anymore. So smart racing, I think, from your front 4 and the guys in the back. You really didn't have much of a chance after that start. The outside line just didn't seem to get going. They're wheeling out the next group of machines here onto Barberville, Florida's front stretch, if you could call it that, behind our ever favorable pace truck.
The field that goes off. Here's your grid for heat race number 2. Garrett Bruges and Nick Cooper will make up road number 1 with Austin Carr and Philip Diaz on road 2. Brandon Schmidt and Matt McKinney on road 3. Mike McKinney and Adam Elby on row 4. And Casey Kerwin will round out the tail end of the field. NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series driver as well. Talking about the different forms of racing these guys all get involved with. So 9 cars. Casey Kerwin, interestingly enough, did not put in a qualifying time. Cam, that number 14 car, he's going to be in for an uphill night.
Well, you know, he might have grazed the wall a couple of times doing his qualifying laps. You know, you touch the wall, you get yourself a 0x or something, your laps are disqualified. So, yeah, that perhaps is what has happened, but he was pretty decent in qualifying. His lap time's pretty on par with everyone else. They're getting ready to go green this time behind that pace truck.
Drivers will be getting the signal to get ready to pick up on the throttle in just a couple of moments. Of course, the iRacing safety truck will duck off towards pit road coming off the corner number 4. So the field works their way through. Who's it going to be? The top 4 will manage to maintain their positions that first heat race. What happens in heat race number 2? The track's going to be a little bit different and ever changing over the course of the event. The field heads in towards 3 and 4. Watch for that iRacing official pace truck to head to the safety of pit road, and it's all on Garrett Bruges to control the field. That number 19 gets on it. He wastes no time. Green flag flies, and Garrett's already out to a big lead through 1 and 2 for the first time. They're side by side for 3rd.
He actually gave it about a 1 Mississippi. It's 3 wide going down the backstretch at Volusia. That has a chance to end in tears. These cars are built like tanks. However, the dancing machine of Matthew McKinney and that number 9, he gets dropped to the back of the back, giving Casey Kerwin one spot just like that. They're not even on lap 3, and Casey Kerwin hits the rear of Adam Elby.
Casey nowhere really to go as Elby's going to get dropped to the back, and Brandon Schmidt, he's going to get himself checked into a transfer spot. He goes from 5th to 3rd on the opening lap. Diaz somehow able to hold on to that 4th spot, but maybe not for long. He had the one of Austin Carr for company, but Austin gets a little bit loose, maybe a bump from the 96 of Mike McKinney. Mike's going to drive it down to the bottom. He's able to get that through. That level 7 number 96 machine, he goes immediately to the middle and tries to work his way forward still.
Yeah, Mike McKinney absolutely pushed that number 1 machine, and how Austin was able to hold on to that thing was very impressive. He's not holding anything back. He doesn't need to. He's only got 4 laps in it this heat race, and he wants to make them count. He's in position number 6. Mike McKinney's in position at number 5, so these guys are not fighting for a transfer spot, but if anything happens up front, they want to be ready to capitalize.
They are racing, though, for good starting spots in the last chance qualifier. So if you can guarantee yourself starting in the first couple of rows, that really helps your cause once we get a little bit deeper into this thing. We have 5 laps down, running lap number 6. Gap out front, 0.4 of a second. Garrett Bruges to Nick Cooper. Those guys have checked out from the rest of the field. It's a 1.9 second gap between 2nd and 3rd place. Who's Brandon Schmidt, who's a little bit on his own, but the 94 Phil Diaz doing a good job staying right there, tucked up behind that number 3rd place running car, in that number 3 with a lap and a half left.
Yeah, not much left in it, and I don't think Philip Diaz is going to put a challenge on for Brandon Schmidt. Not worth it, because Mike McKinney's nowhere near him, at least as far as the timing goes at the screens. Those last laps, Mike McKinney is just a hair faster, but he's not going to have any time left in the race.
2, 3, and 4 for the final time. It looks like it's going to be all Garrett Bruges for heat race number 2. And he comes down the front straightaway. It's going to be that number 19 car, Garrett Bruges, takes the victory in heat race number 2. That 35, and Nick Cooper in 2nd. Brandon Schmidt and Phil Diaz, they round out your top 4 transferees with Mike McKinney, Austin Carr, Matt McKinney, Adam Elby, and Casey Kerwin rounding out that field. So most of the field finishes pretty much where they started. Brandon Schmidt really the big winner there, up 2 from 5th to 3rd. He knocks out Austin Carr, who started 3rd. He falls back to 6th. So Carr is not going to be happy with that one, starting in a transfer spot and then finishing 2 spots out of it.
Well, I mean, you got to remember he is not going to have that last chance qualifier as long as he does good in that 15-lap feature. where only, I believe, only one driver gets to go on. That is going to be scary, but I will say, if you do the only opportunity, the only good thing about it, the 4, okay, excellent, I was worried. The one good thing is you get track experience. You get used to running on that slick track, so you're typically pretty quick right off the bat.
Is one of the things to definitely keep an eye on. The track is seeming to already slicken up already, but as the field rolls off, heat race number 3, grid coming at you. Tyler Ducarme with Drew Hirschko on that front row. Austin Semmelman and Jacob Leverstein, row number 2. Virgil Graham and Kevin Dadman on row 3. Justin Thomas and Randall Carter on row 4, with Chase Rodman rounding out the 9-car field here, Cam. And I think I have to say, I think the big name to watch here is definitely Austin Semmelman. You have a couple of other huge names in this one as well. Ducarme, Hirschko, Leverstein, Graham. This is a star-studded late model field right here.
I mean, Jacob Leverstein, that is the 777. That guy's been lightning quick in late models as far as I've been watching late models here in the iRacing service. So we'll see what he can do, though. They are going to be starting side by side, so let's get it going.
Want to go signal already given as they head down the back straightaway, so they will be green this time by for heat race number 3, and that number 25 at Tyler Ducarme will be in command of the field. We haven't seen much contention for the race lead just yet through the first 2 heat races. Let's see if that changes in heat race number 3. The 25 gets on it. We are green, put 8 laps on the board. Drew Hirschko, not a good start. And Tyler Ducarme's out to a big lead already, but the fight's on for spots behind. The 777 of Leverstein scrapping with a couple cars already, trying to get underneath the 42 of Virgil Graham. Has got 1 car on the wall behind. That was Justin Thomas in the 23.
Now, 23 car is going to lose that position to Chase Rodman. Rodman, in just 1 lap, has moved himself up from 9th to 6th, so that 0-2 wants it, but he's going to have to get a little bit of a hustle on. He's got Jacob Leverstein and Virgil Graham up ahead. That is the fight for your last transfer position. Of course, top 4 going into the feature race automatically, and Jacob Leverstein wants it. He's going to take it easy, though. He doesn't want anything to be a risk, as he doesn't want to damage the cars. He's trying to chase down Virgil Graham. Virgil Graham is actually closing on Austin Semmelman.
Definitely is. We're going to have a 3-way scrap with only 2 transfer spots up for grabs. Semmelman currently leads this little pack with Graham and Leverstein in hot pursuit behind as they head down the back straightaway. Also a big gaggle of cars in the back, but we need to keep an eye on the fight for this transfer position. Drew Hirschko has also made a couple mistakes, and that gap has come down a little bit. 42 Virgil Graham up the inside of Austin Semmelman. Can he make the move? Work down low. Not quite. Loses a big head of momentum, and Leverstein might be able to pick up a spot based off that mistake.
We'll see what he can do. This is it right here. He gives him a little bit of door. That puts Virgil Graham high, which means Jacob Leverstein has just taken that final transfer position. He started in 4th. Well, he's got his spot back.
know he's going to be happy with that as they're coming to 2 laps remaining. Jacob Leverstein still running that middle of the racetrack. Austin Semmelman in 3rd, 2nd place. Drew Hirschko, of course, out in front is still Tyler Ducarme, who's just controlling this field absolutely beautifully. But you know that Virgil Graham is not going to be done just yet. He's not lost a lot of ground to that 777 of Jacob Leverstein. So as they come off of corner number 4 right now and get the white flag, will Virgil Graham be able to make something of this as they're going to get aggressive with one another? You see Leverstein almost leaning on the 18 of Austin Semmelman. He's going to be able to get a run down the back straightaway. Could there be a little bit of fireworks that gives Virgil Graham a transfer spot? Tyler Ducarme is going to come off corner number 4 and win heat race number 3, and Austin Semmelman is going to hold on to that 3rd spot. Leverstein didn't do anything too aggressive into 3 and 4, Cam. Very wise racing for that 777.
Yeah, you want to get into that race, you want to get that money, so the 777 right there is going to get himself into the feature race, which is always what you want. Leaves us with just one more heat to run, Randy. That is going to be heat number 4. Shocking how they number them that way, huh?
Yeah, the number line theory is quite confusing, but the finishing order
Way
for heat race number 3, Tyler Ducarme with the victory. Drew Hirschko, Austin Semmelman, Jacob Leverstein, Virgil Graham, Chase Rodman, Kevin Dedman, Randall Carter, and Justin Thomas. They round out the finishing order in heat race number 3 as we move on towards heat race number 4. Dylan Hauser and John Fiddler are going to be making up row number 1 with Mark Molnar and Zach Leonardi on row 2. Chris Brenner and Zach Rounds on row number 3 with David Heileman and Kyle Johnson on row 4. 21 car of David Heileman, Cam, did not have a very good opening round for the sprint cars last week at Eldora. Didn't even make the feature, and he rolls off 7th in his heat race. He's going to have to try to figure out, one, how to pick up a lot of spots in heat race number 4, or he's going to have to do it from the last chance qualifier shortly thereafter.
Yeah, and these guys, they're pretty spaced out right now. I'm sure they'll close it up as they get the one to go sign, but it is going to be a difficult situation. I mean, we saw that passing is almost impossible, especially when the track is this new. We got a pretty good, decent temperature going on down in Florida. It's actually pretty chilly, I guess, 65, 65, but just looking at it, nobody's really been able to move up outside of that first lap, so unless he does something special, he's going to be on the outside looking in.
For reference, Cam is talking about track and ambient temperatures when he says 65, 65. It is not in actuality 6,565 degrees in Florida as the field rolls through 3 and 4, and Dylan Hauser getting ready to get on it. Number 2 machine in command of the field, and again, waste no time. We are green for the final heat race of the night.
And while he started to get that good start there, that number 21 machine of David Heilman, he ended up making the 1 position, but he went way too high. Kyle Johnson into the immediate counter, but the front field gets away, and it is still going to be Dylan Hauser, and then you got John Filler, and there actually goes Mark Molnar to the inside. He is now up in 3rd.
Molnar and Leonardi swapped that spot a couple times that opening lap of the 70 of Chris Brenner. Got into the outside wall off corner number 4. That shuffled him back a couple of spots, and I believe he now runs 6th or 7th on the racetrack. The field works off corner number 4 for the second time. Mark Molnar comfortably now in 3rd. Leonardi seems to be struggling a little bit, falling back into the clutches. That 28 is Zach Rounds.
Yeah, Zach Rounds, we'll see how the lap times come in here, but he was a little bit slower that last lap, but things come and go as the track is starting to slip away here. Zach Leonardi comes across the line as a 16-1. Zach Rounds 16 flat, 8-6, so he's got it. There's a little bit of contact out in the back. That's David Heilman. So they're going to continue, however, and it looks to me like we actually got a pretty decent race for the lead. John Fiddler seems to be closing in on Dylan Hauser.
Maybe just a little bit, but you say that 2/10 slower that last trip around the racetrack as we're halfway in heat race number 4 down the back straight and then towards 3 and 4, working the second half of heat race number 4 as Mark Mulder and Zach Leonardi. They currently hold the last 2 transfer spots. It's Zach Rounds, though, who wants to put a different Zach into that 4th spot as opposed to Leonardi. He wants himself up in there, and he's closing on that 24 car coming to 2 to go.
Will he put on the front bumper of that super late model to the rear end of the 24? Will he even need to? He goes to the inside. He throws the slide job, and he gets spun for it.
That number the 28 car, that was a little bit, let's say, overeager in my opinion. I know he wants it, but that was really hopeful. I think he could run the sprint car in some of our dirt night races with a move like that. But white flag out for the race leaders. John Fiddler currently runs that second place. He's chased down Dylan Hauser in the 2, who currently leads. But as they come off corner number 4, it's going to be all on Dylan Hauser to win heat race number 4. John Fiddler comfortably in second with Mark Molnar, and Zach Leonardi after that last lap move is going to hold on to 4th with David Heileman, Chris Brenner, Kyle Johnson, and Zach Rounds rounding out that 8-car field as we're getting ready for the 15-lap last chance qualifier. 4 spots up for grabs and 19 cars in the grid. There's going to be 15 people upset with this one.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a good race at the very end. You want to be able to make it to the finale here. So you just want to get in into that show, as Zach Leonardi was the one that was able to get into the show last. He's the last one to punch the ticket. But boy, we've got heck, I see 19 cars listed here. I mean, this is going to be a fantastic show, basically a feature of its own. If only they put on maybe 5 more laps, I got to say, I'm pretty happy about it. So is the kitten. So I say let's get on down to the grid.
It's definitely a main of its own, Cam, almost like a B main.
We can't call it that, though. We have to call it the Consolation because it's in all capitals.
Too late, already called it the B main. Just to get everyone's minds fresh to the giveaway, exclamation point WOO tickets. No spaces in there, just straight exclamation point WOO tickets. Gets your name entered into the raffle tonight to win 2 tickets to any World of Outlaw event of your choosing. We will be doing the giveaway after this 15-lap last chance qualifier after the end of this race and for the feature. So you got about 5 minutes to get your name entered. Be sure to do that. And of course, also another way to enter for a couple tickets, share the Facebook stream on Facebook. iRacing will be doing a giveaway basically picking any random person who shared the stream and giving them a pair of tickets as well. As the field goes around, here's your 19 competitors. Ricky Thornton and Mike McKinney are on row number 1, with Virgil Graham and David Heilman on row 2. Jesse Carr and Austin Carr will be the pair of cars on row number 3, with Chase Rodman and Chris Brenner on row number 4. Charles Cooper and Matt McKinney are on row 5. Kevin Dodman and Kyle Johnson, row 6. Jacob Fields and Adam Elby, row 7. Randall Carter and Zach Rounds, row 8. Josh Phillips, Casey Kerwin, row 9. And Justin Thomas will be the lone car on row number 10, making up this 19-car field. Ace Truck heads down 2, 3, and 4, and the field gets ready. 15 laps, 4 transferees, 15 drivers going home at the end of this one. Who is the top 4 going to be as we wait for the field in the command of Ricky Thornton? He gets on it. We are green for the B main tonight here at Volusia.
Some 20,000 horses just galloped down the front stretch at Volusia. Somebody getting turned around and pushed into the wall. Their night ends early, as it was Jesse Carr. He gets the car spun around, and he's got suspension damage, I imagine, as the field looks like outside of that. Sabine and Bangin, it looks like I've got a pretty decent start as they go almost wrecking in the middle.
People are going to get really aggressive. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, stuffing it in towards corners number 1 and 2. They head down the back straightaway. Everyone's going to stay on it. They're fanning out 3 wide, nearly 4 wide down that back straightaway at Volusia. It's not nearly that wide. They got 1 car up near the wall. That was Casey Kerwin, I believe, but he's able to keep it moving forward. And the field works themselves through 1 and 2 for the 3rd time.
Now we had 1 car lose the rear there. That was Justin Thomas. He lost it. He had to gather it back up. It's Thornton, McKinney, Graham, Heilman, and Carr right now. You got a little bit of a gap with Casper, and you got the Rodman and Brenner battle right now. So it's a good running, I think, right now. A couple of cars are having issues in the back of the pack, but for the most part, your front runners, they're staying nice and calm.
Nice and calm. They aren't really harassing each other too much. Austin Carr right now, the closest driver who can maybe play spoiler. Right now, it's that 21 of David Heilman. You know he's really keen on making the feature tonight after his performance last week, but he's got a lot of pressure on him as they're coming to 10 laps remaining in this heat race. He's got the driver, Virgil Graham, out in front of him as well. And talk about some big names in this B main. You got Ricky Thornton in his own right, Mike McKinney, brother to Matt McKinney, Graham, Heilman, Carr. Those 5 drivers in their own right, I think all are talented enough to be in the feature. The 21 car is trying his luck up top. Austin Carr down to the bottom, picked the spot up. Heilman not able to take it back.
Yeah, we did have 1 car go on its roof at some point, but they ended up, I think, going to the infield or something. But either way, I'm looking at it right now, is where Heilman is going to make his attempt. We saw him having some struggle in that heat race. We're just about halfway. We're a little bit over halfway through here in this B main consolation last chance qualifier, trademark don't at me. But I think Heilman is the faster car a little bit, or perhaps he could nip the rear of Austin Carr going into 1. He decides better of it.
Saw the number 37 car of Randall Carter, by the way, end up on his lid, but we're going to stay green here. The 21 of David Heilman wants that spot away from Austin Carr. He's going to get a good drive down to the bottom. Might be able to make something of this. Is David Heilman. They're going to be wheel to wheel with 6 laps to go. Down to the bottom groove goes Heilman, but he slides up the racetrack. So much traction up top, he just can't make anything stick down low right now, Cam. That 21 car is going to get that move done. He's going to have to find some way to make it stick almost up on the shelf.
I mean, you could almost, you could do a bump and run or something like that. We did see a slide job not work out. I'm looking at the battle between Virgil Graham and Mike McKinney, one just a little bit further up the track. Virgil Graham, he wants to see if he can get a better start, a better position to start from here in the finale, as it is going to be a grand old battle here. And actually, everybody's caught up here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that, and they have got nothing between them.
1 long row of cars here amongst your top 5. The 20 of Ricky Thornton still doing a good job. 3 laps remaining in this last chance qualifier as Ricky Thornton heads down the back straightaway. Mike McKinney comfortably in the 2nd spot. Virgil Graham in 3rd with Austin Carr running in 4th, up 2 spots here tonight. He's raced his way into the show as they run. 1 mile left here of racing, and David Heilman, the only one who can currently play spoiler. What's he going to be able to do? He gets nearly alongside through 1 and 2, but not able to maintain the traction. So they head through corners number 3 and 4. White flag going to be waving here at The iRacing starters stay in the 42. Virgil Graham makes a little bit of a mistake, and that's going to shake up second through fifth just a little bit through corners number 1 and 2 for the final time. They head down the back straightaway. They're going to stay line astern for now, but here comes a big move for the 21 of David Heilman. No way he can get it done if he stays in line. He chucks it to the bottom, and he will not make the feature. The 20 of Ricky Thornton will win your last chance qualifier here at Volusia.
All he could do was hope that that right rear would stick, and it didn't. It slid himself right on up the track. 2,250 pounds, these super late models. And unfortunately, he is not going to be making the big dance. So we've got 2 minutes of warm-up, Randy, but I got to say that was a wonderful feature. Had a couple of incidents, but you know what? Thought it was pretty good.
Couple minutes of warm-up, and of course we're going to have a giveaway in just a couple of moments. Again, in order to enter, exclamation point WOO tickets. This is your last opportunity. We're going to take a short ad break, and when we come back, we will do the giveaway, and then we'll start giving you the info for our feature event tonight. Do not go away.
Did you know your DirtVision.com account gives you free access to our on-demand video library? From the DirtVision.com homepage, click on Demand Video near the top right of the screen. And from there, countless hours of World of Outlaws footage awaits at your fingertips. Watch every lap of the current World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series season.
Sheldon Hudson looking for a run. Dives low into turn 3. Slide job! Sheldon Hudson shield to the cushion. Johnson turns back underneath him, but Sheldon leads lap 23.
Or dive into some of the historical options with videos in our Classics section.
He has clear visibility, comes off the fourth turn in the clear, and leads lap number 1.
It's all available free and on demand on DirtVision.com.
Well, it is time. The feature last week for the sprint cars at Eldora was immaculate, and the late model one is going to be amazing as well. But first things first, we have some unfinished business. Thank you to all of you for tuning in tonight. And now it's time for the giveaway. We are going to roll it, and your lucky winner who's getting 2 tickets to a World of Outlaws event of their choice is Jeremy Caprone. Says you've been subscribed since April 19th, 2017. I don't see how that's relevant. But Jeremy, congratulations. You have won yourself a pair of tickets to a World of Outlaws event of your choosing. So congratulations. Hope you enjoy the show. To whatever you decide to go see, Cam, as these drivers, 20 of the best, are getting themselves set on the grid for 50 laps of action tonight.
Yeah, we're going to be in for some high speed, hopefully not any record. We're going to have some good running, good racing. Congratulations to our sweepstakes giveaway winner, whatever you want to call it. But I got to say, it's now time to get down to business, Randy. It's now time to introduce the world to the iRacing Championship Series. It is the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series, and I'm really excited about this. We've been waiting on this for a long time, and I gotta say, I've been excited. We've been excited. We've had good races. We've had bad races. Let's see what they can do, because we've seen it all, basically. We'll see what they can pull out of the hat here at Volusia Speedway Park. But there's one little bit, Randy, we haven't really talked about, and that's something that we've never encountered before. These guys are racing for cash money. That's important.
Of course, it is $300 up for grabs for that race winner, and of course $250 going to second, prizing race purse going back to top 5, and of course a huge championship purse as well. But we need to go down to your top 20 cars starting here tonight. Howard Weaver and Garrett Nabruge on row number 1, with Tyler Ducarme and Dylan Hauser on row 2. James Edens on Nick Cooper on row 3, with Drew Hirchko and John Fiddler row number 4. Josh Lawton and Brandon Schmidt on row 5, with Austin Selleman and Mark Molnar on row 6. Alex Bergeron and Phil Diaz row 7, with Jacob Leverstein and Zach Leonardi on row number 8. Ricky Thornton and Mike McKinney on row number 9, and Virgil Graham and Austin Carr rounding out the 20-car field. The field heads now down the front straightaway. The best virtual World of Outlaw Craftsman drivers on the service, and they're getting ready for 50 laps of action right here, right now.
lockstep formation, 24 of the best drivers to race in the nation. With 800 horsepower strapped in and ready to ride, the most powerful late models on the planet. The World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series in your face.
The 07 of Howard Weaver lead them off in towards quarters number 1 and 2 for the first time. And Garrett Nabruge is going to cycle into second with Tyler Hudson and Dylan Hauser making up that third spot. A little bit of contact for the 25 and the 2. But they're going to keep it straight as 20 cars cycle themselves for the first time around the Volusia Speedway Park relatively clean.
2 laps done already. Howard Weaver, well, he hasn't had to worry about anything, as everyone running pretty decent right now, want to get into a good rhythm of the track, has worn in. Nobody's on the inside except for James Edens, that number 52 machine. He's running side by side with the driver of Nick Cooper, as there's a little bump and a running from Tyler Ducharme and Dylan Hauser.
Little bit of bumper run as well. Those guys are running for that third spot. Dylan Hauser's going to get it, but they're going to be 3 wide for a moment. 25 and the 52, they check back into that fight. That's Jade Edens as well as Tyler Ducharme. Dylan Hauser gets into that lead, that third spot as Howard Weaver out in front. Cam, he is checking out. We saw him do that in his heat race, and he's running away from that 19 car of Garrett Nabruge and the other 18 cars behind.
Yeah, I mean, 16.3 for him and 16.5 for Garrett Nabruge. So, I mean, then obviously everyone racing in the back there is there. Still side by side is Nick Cooper and Tyler Ducharme. So very good running from them. John Fiddler wants to get on this. James Edens wants to get on this. I think that outside line rating's finally running away. And whoever is going down to that inside line is going to eventually get that position. These cars, they're heavy. The right rears are nice and fat. And that is going to mean that the track is going to run away on a massive field of cars from about position 3 on back. These guys keeping it clean through 7.
Quarters number 1 and 2 here. We stay green as the field stays 2 by 2 by 2. A little bit of 3 wide thinking behind. Who is that? The number 35 and Nick Cooper, John Fiddler, and James Edens were the drivers involved with that just for a moment. They get it double filed out though relatively quickly. And right now it's basically the fight. Third on back, and you see him side by side for third. The 25, Tyler Ducharme fighting up top of the 2 of Dylan Hauser down underneath them. They come down the back straightaway once again. Both crews seem equally quick right now. The 2 machine definitely has that right rear in the good third up top. But look at the run. The 25 of Tyler Ducharme can get down the short way around the racetrack. It's through 1 and 2. Seems like the 2 machine of Hauser able to get the advantage. He might just get clear. No, the 25 still trying his hardest to maintain some overlap.
Well, number 25 SRA fruit gusher colored machine, and I don't really know what else to call it, is really working that inside line. Nick Cooper's joining him on the inside after getting passed by Ducharme. As here he comes, he's just running along a little bit. I think one of these points, the rear end's going to step out just for a moment for that number 2 of Dylan Hauser, and Ducharme is going to be there and ready to go. They almost made contact going out the front stretch as they just meet their turning points just a little separate, as it looks to me like Howard Weaver is starting to drift down the track, and I would not be surprised we don't start seeing the rest of the field doing that. There's a big bubble. There's big bounce going into 1.
Howard Weaver has indeed gone down next to the inside wall. He was running up along the top. The 19 of Garrett Nabruge, though, he's stayed comfortable up along the cushion, so look for him to maybe work some speed. Still fighting here from third on back. So intense. That 25 has a little bit of an overlap once again with the 2 of Dylan Hauser. So Tyler Ducharme still trying his hardest down low. Cam, he's found some speed once again. Got to run in towards corner number 3. Can he hook it up coming off of 4?
Well, Nick Cooper's found his way back up top. John Fiddler, I think Fiddler's fast. He just can't get by anybody. So Fiddler is going to start trying to work his way through. We're 14 laps into this 50-lap feature. James Edens, he's given up on the inside line as Drew Hirschko. He is trying to sift eyes. So, okay, they are going to switch positions on me as everyone is now looking for grip. You know, we normally see, what, 15 cars, 14 cars, 13 cars in a feature? Well, how about 20? So this track is going to get worn to levels that we really probably haven't seen on broadcasts, and I think that these drivers might not necessarily be well equipped for that. I mean, huge fields, not something you're necessarily used to, but these guys are going to have to learn real quick. As Edens runs high, he gets a little bit of a push from Drew Hirschko.
And Drew Hirschko, a little bit of a, let's say, less than ideal slider. I think didn't quite get the right rear tire where he wanted it. Slid up a little bit, but overall, no harm, no foul. There's also a big gaggle of cars in your mid-pack. Well, a little bit deeper than the mid-pack, but you're talking Alex Bergeron, Brandon Schmidt, Zach Leonardi, Mark Molnar, Jacob Leverstein, Ricky Thornton. Here, from about 12th back to the last place running car in 20th, is tightly contested. Just for context, the 10th place running car currently 5 seconds off your leader. 20th running car, 7.5 seconds off your leader. That's 10 cars within a 2.5 second gap here, deep in your field.
Hopefully that's something that we're going to be able to get used to expecting, as Dylan Hauser is going to lose that position to Tyler DeCarm. The inside line gets it.
Oh, we got a car around.
We got a yellow out on the racetrack. It's the first caution that we have had all season here with the late models, Randy.
Yes, it is. The number 97 of Mark Molnar ended up getting sent around. That was in that tight fight that I was talking about. There were 3 wide out in front of him. I think he just sort of checked up, got a little bit of contact, had a lift out of the throttle that brought the back end around just a little bit. Then the number 1 machine of Austin Carr pretty much drilled him right in the rear, sent him around. Not a big incident, and I don't think, definitely not one that we're going to see anyone go out of the race with, but a little bit of contact nonetheless, and potentially some damage, which is always something to think about, Cam, as we're going to be going to green with about 27 laps to go.
Yeah, so should have plenty of good time for racing, but I gotta say, now that the track's worn in, there's gonna be somebody not happy, and that is gonna be the pilot of Mr. Howard Weaver. He had gotten a gap while the track grip was getting good, and well, that is all gone. And there's Tyler DeCarm. I almost wonder if he's on the inside, maybe trying to save fuel or something like that. I can't imagine that. No, wait, we got rid of all that, didn't we, Randy? But either way, New Brouge is going to be happy. DeCarm is going to be happy. Hauser, well, he didn't necessarily have the best first run of that race, did he?
Yeah, it wasn't super great, but I mean, him and that 25 of Tyler DeCarm, excuse me. They've had a very good run thus far. The field is going to continue to work around here under caution. We should be getting the 1-to-go signal this next time through, but it's been a close fight there for third.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a good race. Good introduction to the season as the lights go out on the iRacing safety pace truck, Randy, which means we're going to go back to racing.
Yes, indeed. Lights are out. 20 cars started this race, and 20 cars are going to continue running it here. 22 laps into this feature event. We'll be coming back to green starting lap number 23 of 50. Howard Weaver commanded the field the entire time through that first run. Him and his teammate Garrett Nabruge running 1-2 from the VLR stable. Let's see what they're able to do this time. They're able to maintain that sort of dominance that they've had thus far. iRacing safety truck ducks to the safety of pit road once again. 07 of Howard Weaver gets on it for the second time tonight, and we are green once again in the feature at Volusia.
And DeCarm is on that inside line again. He didn't even look to go high side. He almost door bangs Nabruge. Nabruge almost had nowhere to go. He almost put that lime green and purple paint in the Armco and the exit of corner number 2. Look at the bump they have to deal with going into 1. I think that's the problem. It's throwing the cars super high and unsettling them, Randy.
A little bit of a bump there as Garrett Nabruge is going to lose that second spot to Tyler DeCarm. He checks into the second position, the 115 to John Fiddler. He wants to pick up a spot as well. So the 19 machine gets out of the groove, and he gets freight trained. He goes from second all the way back to fourth as they run here out there on the racetrack and potentially losing a little bit more. Still fighting with the 115, though, of Fiddler, as Dylan Hauser is on the bottom trying to make something of this as well. They're going to be 3 wide for third down the front straightaway. The 19 of Nabruge is going to get it. They're going to stack it up into 1, but they're all going to stay straight. We stay green.
Yeah, and Ducharme is thinking about catching Weaver, but he's not going to have to worry about it. We've got a car upside down. It's John Fiddler, who was having such a great day trying to work his way through the field. He was searching for grip. He ended up going into the corner, getting a lovely tap from Nick Cooper.
They did. That number 115 car got a little bit of a tap, and, well, who was that? The 20 who ended up pretty much killing that car. And that initial incident wasn't too bad, but the secondary one that put him on his lid, that's probably going to be race ending for that number 115. He's brought it down on towards pit road. That's going to be a long stop for John Fiddler. I believe he'll be the first car officially out of this race tonight.
First car out of a feature main in the iRacing World Championship series for the World of Outlaws. So yeah, that's, I mean, you don't want that on your resume. But you know what, though? Speaking of resumes, I mean, Ducharme, I mean, he's starting outside now for Howard Weaver. I mean, he's been fighting pretty much all day long now. I mean, look at that number 25 machine. I don't know what he's doing right now, but alternatively, I mean, he's going to be able to start outside of Howard Weaver. We'll see what he can do.
It's going to be an interesting thing. The thing is, though, that 07 car is still going to command this field. So that 25 car still doing a bit of swerving, maybe trying to keep those tires just a little bit warm, end up driving it straight now. It's going to be a big question mark because Howard will have the advantage of commanding the field. And the thing is, though, Cam, is where's the best place to be because both sides of the racetrack still seem very competitive.
I mean, I've been pretty happy with how the track's worn in. I mean, it's been great to see. The inside is good. The outside seems to be falling away, but still decent if you can get a good run. So we'll see. I'm not going to be surprised if we don't see Ducharme try to cut the nose off of Dylan Hauser, or if Hauser is going to be able to retaliate on what Ducharme did on him and that last restart.
Of course, you have that 19 of Garrett Nabruge shuffled from second back to fourth on that last little run. Let's see if he's able to maintain that. iRacing Pace Truck gets ready to get off the racing surface, and the 07 gets ready to get onto the throttle for the third time in this feature event. He gets on it. We're back to green flag racing here, coming to 21 laps to go in the feature event tonight. The fight is on for second. Dylan Hauser and Tyler Ducharme fighting it out for that second spot. The 2 machine, great run on the bottom, moved Dylan Hauser into P2.
Yeah, great running right there as Hauser has moved himself up. And here comes Edens. He wants a piece of the pie on lap number 32, ready to go. Nabruge has tapped the outside wall, and that's going to pack him up a little bit as Austin Semmelman finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Nick Cooper getting shot out a little bit as Leon Hardy has worked his way through the field as best he can. Look at that, almost 3 wide going across the starter stand. Is it going to work out? No, it's not. We got a pile up going on into corner number 1.
Who all is involved in this one? I think the 19 is. They're still wrecking. The 24 car finally comes to a stop. We had a bit of a pileup. I don't know how bad the damage is on a lot of these cars, though, because a lot of them are still intact. But wow, they were 3 wide, 4 wide coming down the front straightaway. That all started with a 12 machine of Alex Bergeron. Cam came off corner number 4, tried to keep it down there on the bottom. I don't know if he didn't realize he was 3 wide or what the deal was, but he pretty much just took the nose off that number 26 car. Nothing anyone else could do. Alex just sort of trying to dump them in front of the field there.
I think the car just slid up just enough to where they started making contact, and once they hooked up, they just hooked up and went. It's not like they rubbed off each other like the car drifted up, or where typically that'll happen if you give a shot. But no, instead it just turned them, and then that turned them. Obviously, when you're 3 wide, that goes into Nabruge, and then that just started a large packing up of machines, which is not what you want to see. But I think what we want to see is that most of these cars are continuing. If not all of them. I think all of them are.
Yeah, I think so. I think the only car that's technically scored a lap down is number 115 of John Fiddler, but he's actually out there on the racetrack. Alex Bergeron, who I think was sort of the big loser in that incident, he's remained on the racetrack as well. So they're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here, Cam, at about a lap and a half here under caution. These guys did a good job to the first 20, but they're starting to stack them up here. I think guys are getting a little over-aggressive inside of 20 laps to go.
I figured it out, Randy. See, the sprint car race was 30 laps, right? Bear with me.
Oh God. Here comes Cam.
So we had 20 laps. That is longer than the sprint car race, right? Okay.
You got half a mile.
What that means is that because they cashed in their 20 clean laps, now we just get the sprint car race.
That is fair enough. That is fair enough as the field's going to work their way through. 15 laps remaining in this feature. Can we do it all under green? Will these guys play nice enough with one another? Or will we continue to get 1 to 2 lap runs to the end? Safety truck ducks down towards pit road. Howard Weaver waits. He gets on it. That VLR Camaro is green here as they head down in towards 1 and 2.
It's actually orange and black, Randy, as they go into corner number 1. Tyler Ducharme and James Edens. Edens has been working his way through. He started in 5th. Actually, big mover is that Austin Semmelman machine. He started in the 11th position. He started this race way back in the field, and now he has got in his inside Dylan Hauser, who gets a little bit of a shot from Ricky Thornton. Thornton's now on the inside. They are running pretty good here, as I believe Edens at some point is going to get that 2nd position.
Definitely trying to make it happen here, and he had it at the line. The 25 machine of Tyler Ducharme gets shuffled back to 3rd. Ricky Thornton trying to make things happen, and there was a 25 car behind who's, and actually, no, it wasn't the 25. Let's take that back. The 35, and Nick Cooper was trying to make things happen up on the top side as well. He now runs the middle, makes a little bit of contact with who is that? The 3 or the 26 machine of Drew Hirschkos as they're stacked up here, coming down the front straightaway, 3 wide in towards 1 and 2. The 42 machine, little bit of contact to the 19 of Garrett Nabruge. That car that was isolated up top, he goes from running 2nd at one point tonight, Cam, to running all the way back at the back of the field.
Yeah, I mean, for Garrett Nabruge, you got a feel for him. I mean, at some point, yeah, he was running quickly. He was running happily in second. He literally got tagged maybe 4 times in that last lap, and that shot him up the track each time, so he was not able to get anywhere to it as the dust is starting to affect that the rear of the field there, as your leaders are actually even starting to get a little bit of the dust as we've got 9 to go here in the inaugural running here of the World of Outlaws late model championship. I did it, but know what? This is the middle of the broadcast. It's okay. James Edens, however, he's the only one left, Randy. He can chase down Howard Weaver. Let's see what happens.
Just need to not let you think, Cam. Just yell about the cars on the racetrack as James Edens is doing his hardest to reel in Howard Weaver. Gap under half a second here as they rolled through 1 and 2, and the gap came down a little bit when they came across the timing beam. So that number 52 car of James Edens coming up on 5 laps to go here, just about a minute. He's finding speed when you want to be finding it, Cam, and that's late in the race and when the leader right out in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's really straightforward. They're trading lap times at this point, and Howard Weaver on lap 44. We'll see what he can do. They're basically, they've given up on the inside line. They've given up on the outside line. Now they're just trying to run the track and seeing who can pin it first. Look at the bobbling going into corner number 1. James Edens, he didn't have to turn into the track. The car shot him into corner number 1, and because of that, Howard Weaver was able to get a much better exit. Look at the buffeting that these super late models have, Randy, when they go into 1.
5 laps remaining as they roll through corners number 3 and 4. The 52 of James Edens still very tight to the back of Howard Weaver. The fight for third is still close as well. Hauser, Ducarme, Semmelman, Ricky Thornton, the 4 cars that are scrapping it out for this spot. They roll through 3 and 4. The number 2 machine tries to pick up the throttle. Going to do a good job of the 25. Tyler's going to get a little bit of a run. Not quite able to get there, though. But he hooks it up through the middle of the corner. Will he get a run? No, because the 2 machine carries the momentum here. And they're coming to 3 laps to go. The 07 has started to stretch that gap back out just a little bit.
Yeah, and Howard Weaver, he is just able to read the corner every single time and react. Last time he went into 1, he was on the throttle. This time he's off the throttle. He's comfortable in that machine, and he doesn't seem that James Edens is there at all. I think that Weaver might just be able to pull it off, but I think Edens had pulled him in that last lap by a pretty good margin.
What's going to happen? A lap and a half remaining. The 52 of James Edens tucked under the rear spoiler of Howard Weaver through corners number 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. Everyone running pretty much down low. Can the 52 find an opening into 1 and 2 for the final time? White flag waves at the iRacing starter stand, and James Edens is going to get just a little bit of a run, but has to lift out of it. 3 and 4 for the final time. Will Edens send it to the bottom? Weaver's in the middle of the racetrack. Could be an opportunity, but no. The 52 will lift out of it, and Howard Weaver will win the season opener at Volusia.
Great running from Howard Weaver and amazing sportsmanship from James Edens. Fireworks in the air. I gotta say, he could have dumped him twice, and he did not. That's what you want to see here in the pros. That is exactly what you want to see on any night of the week where you got dirt cars out on a track.
What a run there from that 07 machine of Howard Weaver. Cam, every single time we saw him on track, he was leading. He didn't drop a single lap led in his heat race, and he led all 50 laps of the feature. That 07 car, that VLR machine, those guys at Victory Lane Racing need to be more than happy because Howard was dominant tonight.
I'm actually not happy with Howard.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not on Team VLR,
Well,
so...
You're supposed to ask me why.
Okay, why aren't you happy with Howard?
They didn't do donuts.
I'm not happy with you now.
I'm just saying, it's the first win. It's the first win of all of them. So either way, I suppose we should probably go through the results.
We'll go down your post-race results here from the season opener of the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Championship Series here at Volusia. 50 laps of action in the main event, and this is how they all cycled through. Howard Weaver takes the win tonight. Dominant running in that 07. No one had anything for him on a very racy racetrack. Saw multiple grooves come in. We saw the top work for a bit, bottom work for a bit as well. James Edens ends up in second with Dylan Hauser third, Tyler Ducarme in fourth, and Austin Semmelman rounds out the top 5. Ricky Thornton finishes in 6th with Nick Cooper 7th. Mike McKinney up 10 spots. He finishes in 8th from 18th. What a run from him. Also, by the way, Ricky Thornton made up a lot of ground as well, up 11 spots from 17th up to 6th, with Brandon Schmidt rounding out the 9th spot, and Josh Lawton rounding out the top 10. Jacob Leverstein in 11th, Virgil Graham in 12th, Zach Leonardi in 13th, Drew Hirschko in 14th, and Alex Bergeron rounding out the top 15. Philip Diaz, Mark Molnar, Austin Carr, Garrett Nabruge, and John Fiddler. They rounded out the 20-car field here tonight in this one. We're going to take a short ad break here, catch our breath, get the drivers in for interviews, then we will continue with post-race coverage in just a couple of moments. Do not go away.
Courage at the mile. What part did courage play in this victory?
Kinzer going into the corner, trying to get by Dale Waxo, makes contact.
Hell of a lot, I'll tell you that right there.
So many times, everybody had lost track. Look at how it got up on the center track.
Tell you what, there was some close races at a high speed.
The World of Outlaws create memories for fans every night. Now share your favorite Outlaw moment on social media. Whether it was 1978, 1998, or 2018, we want to know, what's your Outlaw moment? Did you sneak into a victory lane picture? Get whiplash driving past a parking lot full of crews at work? Or maybe you simply got to meet your favorite driver in the pits after the races. Tweet it, Instagram it, just use the hashtag #MyOutlawMoment. You might even hear Voice of the Outlaws' Johnny Gibson share your memory at the track. Don't delay, start posting today. Let us know with My Outlaw Moment.
"97 laps of action if you count up all the heats, the last chance qualifier, and the feature. And at the end of it all, the OMA 7 machine from virtual lane from VLR ends up from Victory Lane Racing. I don't know why I thought virtual. As Howard Weaver is ended up takes home the win. And well, let's just get Howard right up in here for his winner's interview. And we got him. That 07 machine, Howard, was absolutely hooked up. You were fastest in qualifying, dominated your heat race, and no one was really close for the entirety of that event till James Edens right in the last couple moments. How is it to basically dominate a night like you did today?
Well, it was surprising for one. I was telling them after the race, I raced all 12 races at VLR this season and didn't win a single one in the late models, so it was pretty crazy to come out and win this one, you know, the opener of the World of Outlaws series. So it was pretty awesome. I'm very happy about it.
And now talking about, you know, just this series and this schedule in general, of course, season opener at Volusia. We talked about this a little bit in the sprint cars as well, but you guys have a very interesting round 2 coming up at Limaland with that quarter-mile bull ring. 20 of these late models on Limaland is going to be pretty stacked up. What kind of racing you think we're going to be in for there in a week?
Probably a nightmare, so I'm really happy I won this one because I'm already banking on that being a drop week for me. So we probably race there again later in the season. I don't know. So Limaland, it's gonna be sketchy. The cushion there is pretty extreme, but hopefully I got in a big wreck there in the pro qualifiers. So if I can stay out of trouble, I think anyone who stays out of trouble has a chance in that race. So it's going to be tough, though. You got to qualify up front every week to really have a good shot at it, I think.
Now, win tonight and a 7th place finish last week, I think that makes you the best VLR driver across the first 2 rounds of the championship. How big-headed are you about to be in that VLR Facebook group chat?
I'm not gonna be big-headed. I'm gonna jump on to Alex. He was he was kind of PM'd me during after qualifying, or after the B main or whatever he ran in the warm-up. He had the fast lap, I guess, and I sent him the setup after I qualified because I just got it from Garrett. I backed out on my first lap, and so I sent it to him, and he was complaining, saying I should have sent him the real set, but I sent him exactly what I had when I got it. So I'm not going to be big-headed, but I may rib Alex a little.
Well, I think Alex deserves it just come up with a variety of reasons. But
Canadian.
Congratulations to you, Howard, on the big win here. 50 laps around Volusia, no easy feat, and you made it look easy. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that 07 VLR machine?
Well, first I want to thank Team VLR. Like I said, I didn't get any wins there this season, so this one's pretty awesome. Especially, it comes with money. Then I got to thank Team Friday for sponsoring me. Accelerated. James Edens, he probably could have dirtied me on the last lap and didn't, so I respect that a lot. I haven't raced with him a lot, but I know he's really good. And just everybody who puts this on iRacing, RaceSpot, everybody, and everybody who watched. There's a lot of people watching too.
The World of Outlaws.
The World of Outlaws. The World of Outlaws. Yeah, the World of Outlaws. You got to thank them for doing this. That's who I was missing. I got you. I didn't hear what he whispered that time.
Yeah, that's okay. We prefer when we can't hear Cam. But well done once again, Howard. Congratulations. Hope to see you run strong in the sprint cars next week. And in round 2 of this series, maybe you can repeat at Lima Land.
Yep, I appreciate it. Sprint cars, I'm just going to show up and race and hope I get lucky like last week. So I appreciate it, guys.
You are more than welcome as your race winner, Howard Weaver. He's going to go and celebrate, probably spam a bunch of emojis in the VLR group chat. But James Edens comes home in second, that number 52 car. He stood by with Cam Walsh.
And the driver... What? He's right there.
Take that back. I misread the names.
Oh my goodness me. It's the door. You just open it and let people in. It's not that complex. Californians, right? Anyways, I got James Edens. And, well, James, speaking of Californians, you got nothing on the car. So either way, it's James Edens. You started the race back in the 5th position. You worked your way up to 2nd. It was a pretty tough race for you. How much do you want for there to just be 5 more laps?
Really badly, really. Car was really good at the end once I got clear track, and just struggled a little bit early on back there in traffic. It's hard to go anywhere, and can't run the line you want, and car wasn't very great. So.
And I mean, a 50-lap race. We did have those couple of cautions. I felt like that probably, if your car was coming into its own as the track wore in, I mean, another 5-10 laps of green flag running, perhaps you could have been able to get there. But you know what, though? First outing in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Championship Series, I mean, not bad at all. I know you wanted that, but, I mean, hey, finishing 2nd, it is not a bad thing when you're talking about the inaugural race.
No, it's a great start to the season. Definitely went better than the sprint car race last week. We ended up getting crashed there, so it's always nice to just be able to finish one of these. With these guys, it's tough.
And, you did end up coming in 2nd to Howard in the heat. You ended up came in the 2nd here at the in the feature. So next week, it's Lima Land. You going to be able to flip that around?
I hope so. I struggled there on the qualifying series for it. I didn't even make the show, actually. So it's definitely going to be it's going to be an uphill battle there for sure. Especially there, it's tight bull ring on the top. It's just going to be survival, really.
Well, hold on and see what happens. The last time here at Volusia, I mean, the car kind of came into its own as the track wore away. Maybe that'll happen again. Who knows? But I have one final, very important question.
All right.
Where do you get all that white paint for the car?
Home Depot, probably. It's a good place to get it. Home Depot, Lowe's, any home improvement store. They got buckets.
That's the easiest
of
way
it.
to get the sponsorship out of you, right? So either way, who does get it done for that number 52 machine?
I just got to thank all the guys at the Third Base Bar and Grill. We got 6 guys running the Late Model Pro Series here, and we put in a lot of time and effort, just into qualified for the series and then just running laps throughout the week, getting there. Them guys were helping me at the end, telling me where to run, if I was better than Weaver or not. Just got to give a big shout out to those guys.
Well, absolutely, and we'll see you when we see you, and hopefully you continue to have great success. And, I got to say, thank you so very much for hopping into the booth with us. We appreciate it as always.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys.
So that is James Edens, the number 52 pilot, that ended up bringing that super late model to the second position, Randy.
He did. It was very well done there by James Edens, but another driver who had a very good and intense night of action tonight is that number 2 car of Dylan Hauser, who we are going to bring into the booth. Dylan, great run from you coming home in third. You were part of some intense fights up near the front all night, constantly 2 wide, 3 wide. How was that for 50 laps?
It was great, man. Just a great race by everybody. We had a good car. We just never could really get clean and run clean laps. We always had someone down our neck, and I don't know if we had a shot to win it, but we definitely had a good car tonight, and it was a great race. Me and Tyler ran side by side for a long time, and it was just a good race for me.
Now, how difficult is that to deal with, knowing that, when you're in the midst of one of these fields, that any little mistake from you means that there's a car up the inside of you or on the outside of you, it's all over the place. How difficult is it to deal with cars that, get a run and slot it down the inside of you and you're constantly not able to maybe run that groove you want to run?
Yeah, that was the case in the first probably 25 laps, so we got the first caution. Me and Tyler were side by side, and I was wanting to get to the bottom because I knew it was coming in, and I just could not get down there. He was down there. I didn't want to slam him in the wall, so I couldn't get down there, and me and him were catching Garrett and Howard just a nick a lap. And then the caution came out, and I was able to get a good restart, and there was some carnage. A lot of people were going for the bottom. Everybody's fast. Think in practice we were all within a tenth and a half, and there was 21 guys I counted in the nines, 15 nines. So you put all them out there on the track together, it's gonna be some damn good racing.
Congratulations, Dylan, on rounding out the podium here tonight. It was an intense night of action for you and a lot of fun watching you work the field. Before we let you go, who gets it done for that number 2 car?
School of Racing Graphics, D12 Racing, Midwest Paint, Ryan, Brad, Cole. There's a ton of people up Austin. They put a ton of time in these setups, and if it wasn't for that, man, we wouldn't be up here. It takes a whole team to get these setups to go as fast as they do, and without those guys, we wouldn't be here.
Dylan Hauser rounds out your podium. Cam, you stood by the man. Last interview we have on the night, number 25 of Tyler Ducharme.
That's right. I have here with me, as we get him here into the booth, the number 25 machine of Tyler Showtime Ducharme. Well, Tyler, you had a very busy race. You started in third, you finished in fourth, so statistically it doesn't look like you had a grand old time, but my goodness, that Camaro had to fight all over the place as you worked your way up and down this Volusia Speedway Park.
Yeah, man, we had a good run going. Towards the beginning, we were a little tight, a little on snug side, and could roll the bottom really, really good. And I got alongside Dylan there, and we ran side by side for I don't know how many laps. And I wish I could have got by him a little bit earlier because I think I could have ran down them top guys. And we got the second there after Garrett had his misfortunes, and we were keeping with Howard, but the track went to the bottom there, and I was kind of stuck on the top, and I just kind of fell back and just trying to survive back there in fourth. Overall, not a bad points night to start the season. Could have been a little bit better. You always want to win, but fourth ain't too bad. We'll take it. We'll move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, the inaugural race for the entire series, not bad at all here. People are going to be looking at this as the benchmark for a long time. Had a couple of cautions, and so we're a bit unfortunate there, a bit unfortunate for some other people. I think it was a bit fortunate for you when that second one came out because you were able to start outside of Howard Weaver, but also that kind of came back to bite you a little bit, because starting that outside towards the end of that race did not seem like it did anybody out that outside any favors.
Yeah, it was just it hurt starting in the slick. I just couldn't get the right rear and any grip, and we were just sliding around. And I knew once James entered me, I was in trouble, and I just couldn't get the right rear to give any grip coming up off the corner, and I was stuck in the slick. And then Dylan got around me, and I was just waiting for the bottom, and I tried moving around a little bit. Usually at Volusia, you can kind of move around and run through the middle in the slick and run to the top, and it was really weird. I've never seen this track do this before. It got quite rough there too towards the end, and I don't know, very odd. I've never seen a track kind of do this before, so quite a learning experience for sure. It's gonna be interesting to see if the other tracks that are at night do the same thing. But yeah, congrats to Howard and them guys, man. They put on a hell of a show up front.
Yeah, I can say I've seen it get really rough and ruddy, especially around the entry to one a couple of times in the longer races. You know, I mean, you had 8 more cars than you normally would see in a qualifying race or a regular iRacing series race. So yeah. Well, either way, a good learning experience. So, hey, if a good learning experience is fourth, you take this all into Limaland, bull ring, very tight. Going to be riding that outside wall, hopefully you can take that learning experience and push it forward up a couple of places.
Yeah, Limaland's a fun track. I've won there in the qualifying series, so, it's one of my favorites on the game. I just love hammering down and running the top there. It's always a blast. Just got to watch out for them sliders, man. They'll get you every time. So it'll be fun to watch. 20 cars in that bull ring should be quite the show for all the fans out there in chat watching. So, we're looking forward to it. Hopefully we can bring it home there.
Well, all right, Tyler Ducharme, I gotta say, gotta give you the floor for that Showtime Motorsports machine. I gotta say, probably already my one of my favorites as far as the paint schemes go. Easy to tell you out from a crowd, so you got the cam seal of approval for there. It's not worth anything, but hey, it's there. But anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or thanks before we let you go?
I gotta give a huge shout out to Sim Racing Authority. I wouldn't be here without them and all that they've taught me throughout my sim racing career. Just an awesome racing league. Everyone in chat, go check them out at simracingauthority.weebly.com and on Sim Racing Authority on Facebook. And Slam, he plays the drums on Twitch. He streams Tuesdays and Thursdays. If anyone wants to go check him out. And Showtime Motorsports for all the sport. And you guys for doing the broadcast of these series. It's always fun to go back and watch them. And iRacing for on this awesome event in the World of Outlaws. It's just fun to have someone come and race for some money and all the pride in the line that the World of Outlaws brings with it. So just an awesome night.
Awesome night indeed. I'm in full agreement. So Tyler, thank you so much. We'll see you at Limaland.
Yep, thanks, man.
So that is the number 25 machine, and that is Mr. Randy Chenoweth. And, hi, how are you doing? We had our first late model race. Went pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race, Cam. It was, 50 laps of action. We saw, 2 wide, 3 wide. We saw the track come in at certain points. All dirt tracks will sort of end up eventually running you will find a quick line around the place. It's not, constantly side by side all the time. But that was a classic late model race, put on a really good show, and Howard Weaver definitely the class of the field, I thought.
Yeah, we did see some beating and banging, but it wasn't anything I thought dirty or, questionable. I had that big old pileup going in that second caution, but you know what? These cars built a little bit like tanks. I'm pretty happy with it. Great way to kick off the full gambit of the World of Outlaws Craftsman Championship Series, both between the sprint cars that I wasn't there for and the late models, which I gotta say. I feel like I got the better of the draw out of those two, at least this week. Who knows what could happen, Randy, next week?
Who knows? Indeed, we're about to find out. As always, every single Monday you can find one of these World of Outlaws Craftsman Championship Series. Last week we had the sprint cars, and that was quite the show. Tonight it was the late models. Next week, 7 days' time, the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Championship takes the dirt track at Charlotte. We'll be having a show at the daytime for that one 30 laps in the feature, see what kind of action we can have. And in 2 weeks, the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Championship Series returns as we head to the quarter-mile bull ring at Lima Land. Volusia felt pretty crowded at a half mile. Let's see what happens out there at Lima Land. As always, huge shout-outs to all the sponsors that make this possible. Thank you to the World of Outlaws for making this series a reality. Thank you to Craftsman, and of course, shout outs to everyone at Dirt Vision for their support as well. And of course, thank all of you for tuning in and making us a part of your Monday evening. We hope to see you next time, but until then, stay safe. Bye-bye.